Now it's in danger at the gas pump. The search for a violent predator who targets women, sneaking up on them, trying to steal their cars, fighting to get a hold of their keys.
Plus, only on 5, a mother's warning after she says her 15-year-old daughter was sexually assaulted on the way to school by a man posing as an Uber driver.
And President-elect Trump's latest cabinet picks raising eyebrows and lots of questions from lawmakers. The latest on the Trump transition now on the news at 10. Good evening, I'm Micah Ullman.
And I'm Cher Calvin. Women targeted at the gas pump, attacked from behind by a suspect trying to steal their car.
Tonight, the LAPD is warning women to be on the lookout for the would-be carjacker, who they say is desperate and dangerous. Carlos Saucedo live in Boyle Heights with the terrifying video of the attacks and who police are looking for tonight. Carlos.
Micah, Cher, this is where one of the attacks took place. A woman was pumping gas when she was about to get in her car when the suspect who was waiting for her finally makes his move. Now, she fights back, but tonight police fear he could strike again. Terrifying screams for help as a man tries to carjack a mom as she was putting her kids in the back of her red-colored SUV. She is able to drive off as the hooded suspect casually walks away. The attempted carjacking happened Saturday in the middle of the day in the 2100 block of North Broadway in Lincoln Heights. Earlier that morning, LAPD says the same suspect seen in surveillance video loiters at this gas station before making his move. As a woman finishes pumping gas and gets in her car, the suspect forcefully tries to get inside. A struggle ensues until the would-be carjacker gives up. But he wasn't done. Later that day, the creeper strikes again, this time at this Arco gas station in the 2900 block of East Cesar Chavez in Boyle Heights. The suspect tries to get the victim out of the driver's seat, but she fights back, and they struggle on the ground. He eventually takes off on his bicycle.
Anything could happen. I mean, this world is changing every day.
Cecilia Castillo comes to this gas station often, alone and at night.
I pump gas at night, and I work night shift, so yeah, scary.
Police identify the suspect as 49-year-old Maurice Latorre. He has black hair, black eyes, and is 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighs about 180 pounds.
If you see something like that, prevent it.
Watching the women get targeted hits close to home for Danny Diaz, as something similar happened to his partner just last month.
It happened to my fiance not too long ago too. Some guy tried to break in and take the car while she was pumping gas with my son in it. And that's scary for us because imagine, they take the car with your kids inside and, you go crazy.
Luckily, that family is okay, but they never reported the incident to authorities. As for this suspect, police describe him as very violent, very dangerous. So if you happen to see him, call 911. We're live tonight in Boyle Heights. Carlos Salcedo, KTLA 5 News.
Carlos, thank you. He was hired to make sure a 15-year-old girl got to school safely. Instead, what turned out to be a fake Uber driver is accused of sexually assaulting his young passenger. The girl's mother says the 10th grader was assaulted right outside her school.
KTLA's Sandra Mitchell spoke to the mother and joins us live in Southgate with a story you'll see only on 5. Sandy.
Well, we can tell you that tonight that suspect has been arrested, but before he was taken into custody and after this sexual assault, police say he continued to drive the streets of L.A. and pick up other passengers. It went on for several agonizing minutes. A man who claimed to be an Uber driver overpowering and sexually assaulting a 15-year-old girl in the backseat of his car.
He grabbed her from the neck, pinned her down towards the seat, pulled down her pants.
The victim reported the rape happened on the morning of October 23rd, just outside her high school. The child's mother had ordered an Uber to take her daughter to Southgate High.
On her way to school, I saw that it was taking more than usual. So I was calling her and she wouldn't pick up.
After the assault, the 10th grader called her sister.
She's like, something really bad happened to me in the Uber car. And she asked her, well, what happened? She couldn't open the door. He was too heavy, for her to push him away.
The victim's mother tells KTLA the driver was not the registered Uber driver. He was pretending to be someone else.
I had the license plates of the car. I had the color of the car. I had a picture of the individual. And when I asked my daughter, is this the person? My daughter said, no, Mom, that's not the person. He stated that he was using his brother's account.
LAPD tracked down and arrested the suspect. Investigators say he confessed but claimed the sex was consensual. But because she's a minor, he could still face charges of statutory rape. We reached out to Uber and they responded. The driver's behavior is appalling and has no place on the Uber platform. We take reports of this nature very seriously and we remove the driver's access to the platform as soon as we were made aware. We have a dedicated team that has been assisting law enforcement with their investigation. The victim's mother says she feels tremendous guilt for trusting Uber with her teenage daughter, and she wants them to add safeguards for other riders.
Then they should be like a system of fingerprint or something, face recognition. Like they should have a system in place that the person that gets inside that vehicle knows that they're going to be safe.
The LAPD has not released the name of that 19-year-old suspect, but I was able to confirm tonight that he was released from jail one day after his arrest. We're live tonight in Southgate. I'm Sandra Mitchell, KTLA 5 News. Back to you, Cher and Mike.
Sandra, thank you. Police say a homeless man preying on vulnerable women in downtown L.A. has been arrested on suspicion of being a serial rapist. Kenneth Allen Woolfolk is facing charges in 2 recent rapes, both happening at a tent near First and Judge John Iso Street. Further investigation identified Woolfolk as a suspect in 3 previous sexual assaults. Detectives believe there may be other victims who have not yet been identified.
New details tonight. Police say actress Chanel Banks has been found safe, but her family believes she is still missing. And tonight, a statement has been posted to Chanel's Instagram account, possibly from Chanel herself. Banks, known for her roles in Gossip Girl and Blue Bloods, was reported missing last week, but the LAPD says she was found in Texas just 2 days later. Her husband says she traveled to Texas on November 7th, and he was told not to talk to her family amid family troubles. Tonight, a person claiming to be Chanel posted a statement to Instagram claiming abuse she suffered at the hands of her family. The statement also says she told police she is okay and finally free from her mother. The LAPD has closed the missing persons case, but there are still questions tonight.
President-elect Donald Trump announces a flurry of new picks to fill out his incoming administration. Some are being seen as surprising and controversial.
And that includes his choice for Attorney General, Trump loyalist Matt Gaetz. Both Trump and Gaetz have been investigated by the very department the lawmaker is being asked to lead. Gaetz's nomination has shocked lawmakers, including Republican senators whose votes he needs to be confirmed as Attorney General.
KTLA's John Finolio is here with the developments. John?
Yeah, sure, Micah. The president-elect's appointments came as he made his first trip to the nation's capital following his historic win. But Mr. Trump made it clear today the #1 qualification to be in his new administration is loyalty.
Tonight, President-elect Trump tapping one of his fiercest supporters, Florida Republican Representative Matt Gaetz, for Attorney General. Mr. Trump posting Gaetz is a deeply gifted and tenacious attorney, saying he will end the partisan weaponization of our justice system.
The left will have a hard time. He is fearless. He is a great pick.
But not all Republicans agree.
I believe that the president is probably rewarding him for being such a loyal soldier to the president that Mr. Gaetz will never get confirmed by the Senate whatsoever. He's never been a team player, and he's never helped out this conference.
And Democrats are sounding the alarm.
And this feels like a red alert moment for democracy.
Gaetz, who has been highly critical of the Justice Department, abruptly resigning from Congress hours after Mr. Trump's announcement. The Florida congressman has been under investigation by the House Ethics Committee over allegations of sex trafficking, illicit drug use, and accepting bribes. His resignation quickly ending the House probe. The New York Times reporting the House committee investigating Gates was set to release a scathing report about him as early as Friday. The Justice Department, which Gates would oversee if approved by the Senate, also investigated Gates for allegations of sex trafficking, but last year decided not to bring charges. Gates has denied any wrongdoing. Meanwhile, Mr. Trump also selecting former Democratic Congresswoman turned Republican Tulsi Gabbard as his Director of National Intelligence. Gabbard, who served as a lieutenant colonel in the Army Reserves, has faced criticism for echoing Trump when she criticized the U.S. and NATO for Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Trump also officially announcing Florida Senator Marco Rubio to serve as Secretary of State. This as his pick for Secretary of Defense. Fox News host Pete Hegseth is already facing blowback for saying women should not serve in combat roles. Republicans also selecting Senator John Thune to be the new majority leader, who will lead the Senate confirmation of Mr. Trump's cabinet picks.
Donald, congratulations.
President Biden greeting President-elect Trump at the White House Wednesday, a gesture Trump never extended to Biden after he lost the 2020 election. Biden promising a peaceful transfer of power. Trump responding graciously.
Do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated.
I appreciate it very much. A transition that's so smooth, it'll be as smooth as it can get.
Governor Gavin Newsom is already pushing back against Mr. Trump's priorities. He met with California lawmakers on Capitol Hill today to help them prepare their legal defenses for Mr. Trump's return to the White House. More at 11. Back to you.
John, thank you. Their homes lost to the devastating mountain fire. Residents tonight gathered to help find a way forward. 20,000 acres burned, more than 200 structures destroyed. The road to recovery for residents devastated by the mountain fire will be a long one.
KTLA's Rick Chambers joins us live outside of Camarillo Performing Arts Center with more on tonight's community meeting. Rick.
Yeah, Mike, I think most of the people here at this meeting are still overwhelmed. They lost their homes and their possessions. Now they're trying to regroup. What they have to do is find people that can help them out. But here at this meeting, there was a message of support that people have their backs.
We know that you must be exhausted. It's been a long, long 7 days.
7 days since flames ravaged large parts of Camarillo. And more than 700 of those fire victims came to Rancho Campana High School tonight to hear what local officials can do for them.
Based on rebuilding, tax relief, what's going to happen in the debris removal process, and get a lot of other support services that they'll be seeking through the time as they're passing through the recovery process.
A lot of people are in pretty bad shape.
Maurice Kerr and his wife Karen lost everything, and they're looking for assurances that the rebuilding process won't be laced with red tape.
I'm hoping we're not going to get a bunch of bureaucracy when we go to file for permits or inspections. Not that we should be treated preferentially, but I would hope that we would be treated better than somebody who's getting a new pool put in.
The crowd was told that recovery is going to be a marathon, not a sprint. Hazardous waste has to be removed before debris, some of it toxic, can be hauled away. And inspections then done before the lots can be reclaimed.
Their house was completely destroyed, pretty much the whole street.
Erica Bauer's parents lost their home, and she's looking for guidance to avoid the unscrupulous insurance adjusters, unlicensed contractors, and scam artists.
We're trying to figure out what assistance there is out here as far as permits and government agencies or any sort of agencies or groups that can help us sort through this process.
Tonight was an opportunity for the victims to hear something positive, that city and county agencies will be working right alongside them in support and help them navigate through such a traumatic time.
They are our community, they are our neighbors, they are our friends, and we want them to know that we're here for them.
Each and every individual and family impacted deserves and should receive as much support as possible to open the door to hope, help, healing, and moving to resiliency.
And there will be an assistance center that opens tomorrow morning. It'll provide all the information these folks need under one roof. And that'll be at the education office over on Adolfo Road here in Camarillo. We're also hearing that the last of the evacuation orders will also be lifted as well. in Camarillo. I'm Rick Chambers, guys. I'll throw it back to you in Hollywood.
All right, Rick, a little bit of hope there, and our weather giving those firefighters and those residents a little bit of hope as well. V?
Yeah, as we head into the weekend, we are going to see the possibility of rain, and that will be much needed, especially towards the northwestern end of the viewing area where it's been so dry and, more importantly, where it's been so windy. The winds are going to be a big part of the weather story as well with this approaching storm. It's going to come out of the Gulf of Alaska. It's going to be really, really cold. It is going to be pretty energized. However, there's not going to be a lot of moisture with it. So the cooling trend will begin to arrive tomorrow night. Temperatures will be at least 10 to 20 degrees below average across the different microclimates. So depending on where you are, we are going to see the possibility of showers, scattered showers, light rain across the region for Friday, primarily Friday, but also into Saturday. And then the warming trend will return early part of next week. And it's going to be a mild warming trend. In the meantime, let's talk about some of the temperatures around town. Fullerton 78, John Wayne 76, Riverside 79, and Palm Springs also 79. The rest of the forecast and the rest of the numbers up shortly. Back to you guys for now.
Thank you, Vera. He was nearly crushed to death after thousands of pounds of boulders came tumbling onto his van. Somehow he survived. Joseph Furtek was driving his van on Highway 18 near Crestline in October when a catastrophic landslide sent thousands of pounds of rocks and boulders onto the highway. Furtek's van was crushed, and he was left with severe injuries to his legs and brain. He was rushed to the hospital in critical condition, where he has undergone a number of surgeries.
I think that if I'd been in any other vehicle, I don't know that I would have survived that rock slide. Blessing. I mean, there's no question as I was blessed to survive it. I mean, I've lost everything because that was going to be my temporary residence while I was looking for a home in Pismo Beach.
Furtek has an extremely long road to recovery. Family members have set up a GoFundMe page to help cover his growing medical expenses and rehabilitation.
Starting in just a few months, students in the LA Unified School District will be banned from using their cell phones or social media during the school day. The district is hoping to break kids of their social media addictions and get them socializing in person. KTLA's Lauren Lister has more on the new policy.
Students will finally be separated from mobile phones during the regular school day, allowing them to be the kids they are.
LA Unified cell phone ban going into effect in January, and we are now learning new details about how it will work. For one, students will not be allowed to use cell phones during the entire school day, including lunch and breaks.
Allowing them to socially interact with peers of their age, allowing them to not be distracted in a classroom, and finally breaking them away from the addictive power of social media entities.
Smartwatches also banned. Discipline will start with multiple verbal warnings, first to the student, then referral to a counselor, then outreach to a parent or guardian, then potentially taking the device away temporarily.
Phones will be confiscated if students continue to not comply. I mean, I think ultimately, we are in the winning hearts and minds phase.
District officials say they want buy-in from the school community, including parents and students.
I don't agree with it, but I do understand the reasons for it. I understand that it's for us to pay attention at school.
But just how students are kept off their phones will be up to individual schools. They could require students to keep devices in their backpacks all day, or to place them in specialized pouches that are sealed for the day. Or they could have kids lock them up in storage units.
The only problem with that is because we've been having some lockdowns recently, so I feel like that's the only negative to that, because then it's like, how are we going to contact our parents?
We also spoke to an LA Unified parent who shares concerns about phones being locked up during emergencies.
I'd rather have the child be able to get to the phone, and that's where my concerns are.
This dad's son is in 8th grade at a middle school where kids are already barred from using cell phones during the school day.
I am absolutely in favor of it.
Cell phones that are visible or audible are confiscated until the end of the week when a parent can pick it up.
He was caught by the vice principal one day in the bathroom with the phone out on a Tuesday, and he had it taken away until Friday. I thought it was a great lesson for him to learn. He hasn't had any incidences since then.
Lauren Lister, KTLA 5 News.
Financial turbulence for two budget airlines has them taking drastic measures. Southwest is offering buyouts to thousands of ground workers at airports in 18 cities, including L.A., Burbank, and Long Beach. The voluntary departure packages would impact customer service, ramp and operations agents, and cargo workers by the end of the year, creating some inconveniences for travelers. Meanwhile, Spirit Airlines is reportedly in advanced talks to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. This comes after a failed merger with Frontier Airlines and ongoing financial troubles. Spirit is more than $3 billion in debt.
For the second time this year, NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory is laying off hundreds of workers in a drastic cost-cutting move. The Premier Center for Space Exploration is dealing with several challenges, including the possible cancellation of the troubled Mars sample return mission. About 325 people are being laid off. In February, 530 employees were let go. JPL's Mars sample return project has been its biggest mission in recent years, but lawmakers have objected to its high cost, between $8 and $11 billion.
Still ahead on the KTLA 5 News at 10, calculated, cunning, and cold-blooded.
A Southern California couple is robbed, shot, and set on fire. Their bodies dumped in the desert. What prosecutors say was the motive behind this gruesome double murder rampage.
Plus, a father was feared dead after disappearing while on a kayaking trip, but police say the dad was hiding a dark secret.
And was it a rare bear attack caught on camera or a sinister insurance fraud scheme? The LA County men accused in an elaborate plot involving a Rolls-Royce and a furry costume. Plus, Doug.
Tonight, it's hands down one of the most anticipated films of the year. We take you to the big premiere of Wicked and hear from the cast coming up in entertainment.
It is one of the most anticipated films of the year. The stage-to-screen adaptation of Wicked heads to theaters.
Our Doug Cole gives us a look from the big Los Angeles premiere in tonight's entertainment report.
Well, for fans who can't get enough of Wicked, this is right up their alley. A film divided in two parts with the first chapter 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Are people born wicked? Or do they have wickedness thrust upon them?
Pretty awesome. Yeah.
It is.
It's a wonderful feeling, that's for sure. Yeah.
It's a surreal honor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're just so grateful. You're green.
I am.
Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, performances for the ages. They're the all-time greats.
Miss Elphaba, you can room with Miss Galinda.
Oh, popular. I know about popular. Oh, I saved you some space, by the way.
Do you really think this is fair?
I do not. I was promised a private suite. But thanks for asking.
Yeah, his interpretation of some of the most sort of poignant and human themes in this, I think is just extraordinary, and it's created in a cinematic event. And obviously Wizard of Oz is something that I grew up with all generations of my family, so I'm excited to watch this with them.
How did you do it?
I don't know. I've never known.
And the fans have been so warm and so open and loving.
Yeah.
And they've embraced our Elfie and Glinda in a way that there are no words.
She doesn't give a twink when anyone thinks.
Of course she does. She just pretends not to.
It's not the man just behind the curtain, but he's got a whole workshop. Yeah. He's a kind of inventor, a Nikola Tesla type. Compared to all the movies I've made, and I've been lucky enough to make a bunch of them, this is the cherry on top. It took the cake.
Something bad is happening in Oz.
The best way to bring folks together is to give them a real good enemy.
I just felt so lucky to be in this movie. I'm just grateful. It was a glorious experience.
It's a very special film that everyone can enjoy.
You have no real power.
That's why I need you.
Don't let her get away!
This wicked witch.
I don't know if I expected that kind of reception for them to welcome us in such a way, and it's been really wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, Wicked heads to theaters Friday, the second chapter around this time next year. With your entertainment report, I'm Doug Kolk.
Coming up, the FBI joins the case after Kansas City Chiefs stars Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce's homes were burglarized just hours apart.
Plus, he can sit, stay, and catch a killer. How a woman's dog helped police solve her murder. Prosecutors say pure greed was the motivation behind the gruesome double murder of a Brea couple. Both were robbed, shot, and set on fire in the desert. 30-year-old Huang Tinggong is charged with special circumstances murder in what the Orange County DA calls a crime that depravity does not adequately describe.
KTLA's Orange County Bureau Chief Chip Yost has been following the case. He has the latest on the victims of the callous crime.
After Quanlun Wang and his wife Jing Li were reported missing from this condo complex near State College and Brea Boulevards last month, neighbors of the couple started noticing more and more police.
So you saw police doing surveillance on the house?
For 3 days, yeah, they were just making sure that nobody was coming in and out, nobody was touching the packages that were outside, nobody was tampering. We thought that was kind of weird, and then finally, like the third day, they started coming in and out, and they had the vans and the trucks. They were here for like a couple of days.
According to the district attorney's office, what investigators uncovered was a horrible crime that was committed by one of Wang's business associates, Huang Tinggong. According to the DA, Gong owed Wang $80,000, but instead of paying him back, the DA says Gong murdered him out in the desert. Then, with Wang's body in the car, Gong drove back to the couple's Brea home, where he allegedly kidnapped and later murdered Wang's 37-year-old wife, Jing Li. After disposing of the bodies in different parts of the desert, the DA says Gong then went back to the couple's Brea condo and stole around $250,000 worth of watches, handbags, and other goods. Gong has been charged with special circumstances murder, meaning he is eligible for the death penalty. He is due to be arraigned on December 2nd. In Brea, I'm Chip Yost, KTLA 5 News.
A heroic and loyal dog helped solve his owner's murder after police noticed him hanging around a crime scene, refusing to leave.
What's up, doggy? You sure are hanging around here. Is that your person over there?
Police say a woman's body was found burning inside a large plastic container and was completely unrecognizable. The dog, named Titan, refused to leave, even sleeping in the field until the fire was out. Investigators discovered the dog was microchipped, which helped them identify the victim, Mandy Reynolds, who was the dog's owner. Her car turned up in Kansas with her cousin, Derek Dagno, behind the wheel. He is now convicted of her murder.
The fact that Titan stayed right there where Mandy's body had been was really the key fact in getting the ball rolling towards identifying who had committed this crime.
Dagno has been sentenced to life in prison. Police say Titan was adopted by Mandy's best friend, and we're told he's doing great.
Investigators now believe a Wisconsin man faked his own drowning this summer so he could abandon his family and flee to Eastern Europe to be with another woman. Ryan Borgward's family reported him missing in August when he failed to return from a fishing trip. Searchers found his vehicle near Green Lake as well as his overturned kayak. Searchers spent weeks looking for his body before authorities learned he had obtained a new passport in May. They also found searches about moving money to foreign banks, communications with a woman in Uzbekistan, and a $375,000 life insurance policy taken out in January.
4 L.A. County men are under arrest after authorities say they used a fake bear suit in an insurance fraud scheme. Surveillance video shows what looks like a bear breaking into a Rolls-Royce and tearing up the interior in the Lake Arrowhead area. But after closer inspection, investigators determined it was nothing more than a man in a bear suit. To make matters worse for the suspects, detectives found 2 additional insurance claims with 2 different insurance companies on the same date of loss and at the same location. In total, insurance companies were defrauded of more than $141,000. Detectives executed a search warrant at the home of one of the suspects and found a tattered bear suit complete with metal claws.
The FBI is working with law enforcement in Kansas City after the homes of NFL stars Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce were burglarized. Their homes were burglarized in early October, the break-ins happening just hours apart. Mahomes' residence was targeted late on the night of October 6th, while Kelce's home was broken into during the Chiefs game against the New Orleans Saints on October 7th. Investigators say the break-ins may have been targeted attacks rather than part of a larger crime spree. Authorities say some $20,000 in cash was stolen from Kelce's home. The close timing and specific targeting of these high-profile players has raised serious questions about the nature of the crimes.
Still ahead on the KTLA 5 News at 10 and 11, a bear comes face-to-face with a woman and her dog.
What happened next? Plus, Vera.
Thank you, Micah. Right now we have mostly clear skies, but we are going to see a changing weather pattern. As we head into the weekend, we are going to see a cold front move in, and it's going to be definitely colder with that front. And there's also going to be a chance of rain and possibly some snow at the highest peaks. We'll take a look at those details and numbers when we come back.
Do you see how still she is, and the dog too? A heart-stopping encounter for a woman in Tennessee. She is walking her dog when a bear strolls up to them. The woman stands still and holds her dog close as the bear comes within feet of them. I mean feet, before it turns and then walks down a set of stairs to a park. Somehow she is able to stay calm and keep her dog calm during this encounter. Are you kidding me? I would be a goner with my dogs. They'd be barking at that thing so hard.
Look
No
at that
way.
bear, though, and it steps back. It's frightened.
Also, yeah, right.
And look at the dog. The hind legs are kind of tucked under. They're kind of tucked under. We encountered, Rufus and I encountered a bear once. And he is a barker when he gets excited. But he could smell the bear, and his body was so excited. He was shivering, but he was staring. He didn't bark.
Wow.
But I could, I was holding him, and I could feel the vibration in his little body. It was very exciting, but very scary, too.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, but...
You know, my dogs would be Scooby Snacks. I mean... in a heartbeat. Me too.
Well, we'd all be Scooby Snacks out with the bear. Even Micah might be a Scooby Snack.
I don't think so. Not at 6'6".
Let's go.
He might qualify for a full meal. Yeah, he's also 6'4".
That's going to be like breaking news video right there that we'll have at the top of the show.
Let's go ahead and go outside. Let's talk about the weather. We do have weather. We've got rain to talk about. The bear encounters are always so fascinating. We love the bears. We love all the wild animals. We love all the animals. Not all of them, except for maybe the snakes. Outside, this is what the skyline looks like. We don't have a lot of marine layer with us tonight. This afternoon, we made it to 80 degrees. That put us well above average. The average this time of year here for Southern California is somewhere in the mid-70s, depending on whether you're closer to the coast or away from the coast. You know, we have the microclimates. 24-hour temperature change, 2 degrees cooler in Van Nuys, 1 in Burbank, 1 warmer in Ontario and San Bernardino, and in Santa Ana stayed exactly the same. Outside right now, Los Alamitos, 50 degrees, 59 in Santa Ana, 56 in Burbank, and 45 in Lancaster. This is a trough low pressure that is going to bring the chance of rain, especially on Friday. That will be the best chance of rain for everybody. What everybody will feel, because not everyone is going to get rain, but what everyone will feel will be a significant drop in the temperatures, and if there is wind where you happen to be, because remember, microclimates, not everyone gets the strong gusty winds. Sometimes it's the northwestern end, sometimes it's the eastern end of the viewing area, but if you do get the combination of cold temperatures and wind, it is going to feel much, much colder than what it is. So this is where that system is going to be by Saturday, which is why the best chance for everybody for rain will be on Friday. Looking ahead, this is what the winds are going to look like. We're going to start to see onshore flow on Thursday at around lunchtime. As we continue to advance, you'll see those winds get stronger, especially over the mountains and over the desert areas. So 10 degrees below average across for everybody. Light scattered rain, snow levels down to about 5,000 to 4,000 feet. The winds are going to be pretty gusty. In fact, the National Weather Service has already said that they will probably need wind advisories. Here's what the rain is going to look like. So again, not a significant event, but it will be enough to dampen the vegetation, which is what we need because it has been so terribly dry. San Fernando Valley, 73 tomorrow, sunny skies, wet on Friday, 62, dry by Saturday afternoon and 65. For the Inland Empire, 76 Thursday, upper 50s Friday. Temperatures increase a little bit on Saturday, lingering rain, especially up against the foothills. Santa Clarita Valley, 75 and 61 with sunny skies, although tomorrow Santa Clarita Valley is still going to be a bit on the windy side. And finally, for Ventura, mostly clear skies Thursday, damp, cold, and wet on Friday, and then drying out by Saturday. And that's the forecast.
Very good, Vera. Thank you. KTLA 5 is celebrating remarkable women of Southern California who lead the way and help change people's lives. You've seen us tell many of their stories, highlighting their extraordinary work. And now we want to hear from you about a remarkable woman in your community. Scan the code on your screen or visit ktla.com/remarkablewomen to nominate a woman you know who is making a difference while inspiring others. The woman you nominate could win $25,000 for the charity of her choice and be named Woman of the Year at a reception in Hollywood next year. Good luck.
All right.